all things Black businesses, fashion, and even artists. So in this segment, we highlight Michelle Mickey Smith, an artist who continues to pencil her mark in history locally and internationally. Excited to talk to you, Michelle, about art and how you got started. So just thank you for allowing us in your space today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm happy to have you here.
So walk me through, how did you first find your passion for art and photorealism?
That's an interesting question. I never really found it, like it was always there. I never had to go looking for art as my passion, I guess. I think as I matured, I learned that it was a passion and a purpose. But as far as knowing that I wanted to draw and create, I've always known that. It's not something I had to go find.
Photorealism, I've been Googling what this means. But for people out there, what does it mean, photorealism, and why did that captivate you so much?
So photorealism, there's different genres in art, right? So you've got your abstract, you've got realism, photorealism, and even hyperphotorealism. And I kind of stay along the lines of photorealism, which basically just means to create a piece of art that looks as close to a photograph even as possible. I think what captivates me most about it is the detail. I find it challenging, and for me, each little detail comes together to create a whole. And that's what you see as the final piece, whether it be the reflection in the eyes or the vein in the petal of a rose. Those things are what I see, and then they all kind of come together. So the detail is what captivates me the most, I think.
Have you always seen things like that, though? So for me, I see a rose and I just see petals. You say you see the vein of a rose. Yeah. And did you train yourself to do that?
I don't think it was training. I think the more I draw, so there's a quote, and it escapes me the artist right now, but it's what I've always lived by, I think, when I create. I didn't know that until I found the quote. What I have not drawn, I have never really seen. And that's really true to me. The more I draw things, the more detail I see. So I don't know that it was a conscious training of the eye to see that, but I think that's true for most artists. The more you create a certain thing, the more you see it out in the world.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And you know, you've said before, Michelle, your work is inspired by your life. What does that mean?
So by life in general, I think there's so much out there that sometimes when I look at things, it's like it screams at me, you need to put this on paper. And there's like good and bad, right? And there's so many things that we can capture in the moment when we're creating. That's really what art is, and especially like photorealism. It's like taking a photo. It captures the moment at the time. So there are different things that I see, or different words even that I'll hear that I'm like, how can I create, like how can I turn that into a piece of work? And I think that's what inspires me most about life and creating art.
Different things you see, different words you hear, and you've also won very different, many, I should say, awards. You've collaborated with Ralph Lauren. You've been published in books. You've done it all. And I want to know, what has been your most memorable moment in all of your years of achievement through art?
The most memorable moment would be winning the Ralph Lauren contest, I think. I mean, the last collaboration we did was great. The winning the contest was the biggest achievement. There were a lot of firsts there, right? So it was the first time they'd ever done anything like that, number one. It was the first time a face outside of Mr. Lawrence himself had ever been put on any of their product. And it was a Black man's face on top of that. So there were a lot of firsts there. It was a first for me. It was my first detailed marker piece.
You said, like, at the end of the day, the creative journey is for you. You know, how did that statement, that realization, help you grow as an artist throughout all of these years, knowing that I'm at the end of the day, I'm doing it for me?
So if I don't feel a piece, that's hard to explain, but if I'm not feeling it when I'm creating it, it shows. So that's the part of the journey that's for me. Like for me, when I sit down to create, that's my downtime from the rest of the day. My freeing my mind, or my living in the moment. Like I'm in the moment when I'm creating. I'm letting loose of whatever else happened during that day, and I'm learning as I go. It's like my prayer time, you know, my meditation time. And I need that, so that's for me. If at any point it becomes work, then it's no longer really serving me. And it shows in the work. When I first started exhibiting pieces, I started drawing my son from an infant on. And so when I would exhibit pieces and he would be in there and there might be a picture of him and a portrait of someone else, and people would literally ask me, who is he to you? Because there's a difference. We feel a difference. And that
so
blew me
powerful.
away.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what I've held on to for all these years, because if they notice the difference, it's because that's my energy that they're feeling. And they're like, yeah, we definitely notice a difference.
Super cool. Now, Michelle has so many different things coming up and heading our way. You can always check out her website, thedrawing-room.com, for more details on galleries, projects, and more.
Thanks for watching. Stick around by subscribing today and don't miss a single video.